Welcome to an episode of the Mind Behind the Money podcast. I'm on here with my guy Nick. I'm gonna give him an intro. I don't know if I can get through everything. He went to the Harvard School of Business. He was on the equity side. At Harvard School, you
Yeah,
went to
Harvard
Harvard School
Business
for
School for
business.
my yeah.
Okay, scaled a company over $100 million. You was in private equity for a decade.
So much
Welcome
for
to
having
the
me,
show,
Ray Sean.
Nick.
Excited.
Yes, sir. First thing I want to get into is something personal that I don't think a lot of people know about you. You came from India when you were young and you moved to Canada. Talk to me a little bit
Yeah, I had
about
a
the first
really
five
weird
years of your
for
life.
childhood, right? So I was born in Canada actually, but my parents were, shirt on, shirt off your back immigrants, right? Not a lot, and so they made one of the hardest sacrifices I could have ever imagined. They gave me up. They sent me back to live with my grandparents in India. So on the other side of the world, they couldn't afford to fly back. So I was raised literally from the age of 0 until 5 by my grandmother in India, a single grandmother, working woman. I grew up in a place where there wasn't running electricity or water was like an hour in the morning, hour at night. Electricity went on and off. Raised by a single grandmother. First time I saw my mother, literally kid you not, was like a week before my 5th birthday, where this woman shows up in India, grabs me in a plane, takes me back. I'm bawling my eyes out, saying like, "Who's the strange lady taking me away from my grandma?" It's my mom. She's taking me away because now they can afford to take care of a kid. So just an unimaginable sacrifice, right? Giving up your kid, having him or her live on the other side of the world for 5 years during their formative years.
Got you. How did that experience shape the man that you became now? Like, when did you realize like the sacrifice your parents made
Look,
for you?
I always probably it didn't emotionally hit me till sometime after I was college, like in my mid 20s, right? I only started having a kid about a year ago, and I love my kid, but like it started hitting me somewhere when I was like 25 or 26. Like, holy man, like giving up your kid, all right, and just sat working your butt off for like years and years and years so you can support a family. That's even aside from the challenge of like when you move to a different country, right? Um, yeah, that's when I think it hit me, and I think the way it's influenced me is kind of two things. Number one, it's taught me like the unimaginable lengths people can go through for their families in the real world. Not we see this in movies all the time, but like I'm one of the few guys who's at least on the flip beneficiary of this. Like my parents gave up an enormous amount to give a shot at me, not just the immigrant thing, but also them giving up the kid. And then the second thing I think it's taught me is playing the long game. You don't make that sort of sacrifice if you're trying to make a few more bucks next week or next month. You're thinking ahead like 5, 10, 20 years, right? I'm going to move across the world so my kids can have a better life, and then I'm going to give up the kids for like 5 years. Uh, and then I'm going to work my butt off for the next 15 years. My parents never had a fancy car, never took fancy vacations. They really were investing so I could have a shot at life and go to a good college and stuff like that. It's taught me like think in decades, not in days.
Got you. So that's what like your sense of like patience and scaling a business like come from
Discipline
the
and
discipline.
thinking like long term. I think and you always hear in the stock market, people are thinking ahead 1 quarter at a time, 3 months, right? If you think of it, like if I draw my family line, it goes back roughly like 90 years, like 4 generations of people. My grandmother's generation made a sacrifice. She was a single grandmother in a developing country that was a colony when she was born. Then my mother made sacrifices. Then I worked my butt off. That's like 3 or 4 generations of people just working for that third generation to have a good shot at life. Right? That's thinking ahead decades, not quarters or days.
Right. So, what inspired you to choose the path of where you went to college,
Yeah.
like choosing your major and
Um,
what you want to do for your
so
future?
it's funny. If you asked me when I was actually in second grade, they asked us to draw a picture of what you wanted to be. Everyone drew pictures of firemen or police officers, the things you see on TV. I drew a picture of myself, and it's kind of fully drawn picture of a lab coat, of me in a lab coat, and with and I'd written the title
Yeah.
multi-purpose scientist. I made up that word. I said I want to get basically degrees in like everything scientific imaginable. And the reason was really so I like at the age of 7, I knew I wanted to go into the sciences. I wanted to study how the universe works. And I think the cool is that the thing that I made me want to do that is like I love understanding how things work, right? That can be how
Yeah.
people work. I spent a lot of time on Wikipedia reading like how slugs grow, how the universe explodes, like how this microphone in front of me works. Like it just is fun for me to understand how things work.
Got you. Where do you think you got that like creative like
I
sense of
have no
mind
idea.
from?
My dad's a janitor. My mom worked in a factory and then for the government most of her life. So I didn't grow up around scientists or engineers or folks like that. There's just something inside me that like I love watching things work. And I don't know, maybe it's genetic, right? I got a 1 year old now. The guy he doesn't like playing with dolls or action figures or things, but anything that's got moving parts or computer things, he loves. You know, at the age of 1, he's been using my phone and iPad, right? Like he loves rolling machines. They
Yeah,
like anything that has mechanical. He loves, and maybe I got it genetically, right, and passed it on.
got you. Yeah, I got a side question for you. What's tougher, raising a baby boy or
A
business?
baby boy, right? Like at the end of the day, business is adults, right? You can tell your colleague or your boss that, hey, I'm sick, I'm off, and they may not like it, but they'll understand it. You can't tell a screaming 4 year old, hey, daddy's got to go to the bathroom, right? Like that's, or daddy's got to go to work, right? Like you can't
Yeah,
rationalize with what is basically a screaming ball of poop, right? A screaming hungry ball of poop. Human beings can talk to each other, they
right.
can agree with each other, they can think, they can reason. Babies don't reason, man.
Nah, I agree 100%. To get it back into like the business side of things, talk me into how you went from Harvard and business school, finishing at the top of your class, to transitioning
Sure.
into Wall Street.
I did
Like,
Wall.
what triggered
I
that
started my
pivot?
career in Wall Street actually. So I did Wall Street both before and after business school, and kind of two things drew me there. Right. Number one, um, in Wall Street, you can spend a lot of time understanding how companies work, and you get to understand a lot of companies really like in different industries. So by the age of 26, I analyzed or like helped fix companies in super high end headphones. Think a competitor to Beats. A healthcare company, a company that made semiconductors, a company that made chemicals. Like I'd worked in all these cool things and really understood the business. So I love that. Again, going back to I like how understanding how stuff works. The second thing is Wall Street is a great place to realize that what you do, like you see results, right? And a lot of things in life, you make something, you don't know what happened to it. You don't know whether it was a good idea or bad idea, right? You go to the gym every day, you don't realize you get stronger for months and months and months. In Wall Street, generally, or investing, you figure out pretty soon and you get real feedback that you made an investment, it went up or it went down, right? And so you get that feedback of, hey, you did
Right.
well. Whereas, you work out at the gym for an hour, probably it's going to work out if you do that every day for months, but you don't know at the end of the day, you don't really know whether that one day made a difference.
Right. So do you think it was more so like the excitement and the creative aspect to it for you, like going
I don't
into
think
Wall Street?
I'm not an excitement driven guy. I'm not driven by adrenaline, right? So I'm not one of those, adrenaline junkies who jump off cliffs or stuff. I've done that, but like not for the
Yeah.
adrenaline. So not the excitement aspect, but the aspect that life is a hard teacher, right? When you get something wrong and you lost money for your clients, you learn from it really quickly. Like this was bad. Here's the mistake I made. I feel, and conversely, when you do something right, it's like, oh, I did this right and this went well. So that feedback where you're constantly being taught, like you're being coached by the real world in a very tangible, visceral way.
Mm. Do you think that made you like a
Absolutely,
better
right?
critical thinker?
Like there's lots of lessons I've learned in my career. The biggest one I've learned it came from an investment I made when I was investing in stocks, and it was, the question that I now always ask myself, what is my competitive advantage? Like, so when I do something in the world of business, I'm like, why should I win here? Right. And a silly example, look, I'm 5'6" and 145 pounds, right? If I ever go on a football field,
Yeah.
I know that there's no reason why I should win, right? I can run a little bit faster. I'm a very fast guy, but like on average, I have no reason to win. You switch that over to anything in theoretical math. I'm like, I've got degrees in theoretical math. I'm going to crush 99, unless your name happens to be John Nash or happen to win a Nobel Prize, I'm going to like do okay in the math field. So the question is like, I always ask myself when I'm doing something in the world of business, what is my competitive advantage? What is my right to win here? And if the answer is no, I just don't do it.
Got you. What was let me ask you this. You scaled like quite a few businesses to millions of dollars. What was the different elements in the different businesses? Like if you got a business in a different niche, are you looking for something
So,
different or is it pretty much the same
so
thing?
I've run a shoe company, like a sneaker company. Think Jordan's, Travis Scott fragments. I don't know if you're a sneaker guy, right? Like So a sneaker company, like a high-end sneaker
Yes, I
company,
am.
right? A software company and a trucking company, very different. For me, or very different industries. For me, honestly, all companies basically boil down to three things. How do they make money, right? Number one. Number two is, do they have a system? So are they thinking of themselves as a factory? There's lots of people who make money doing one thing really well, but they're almost like craftsmen, right? But craftsmen don't scale. You need factories, and big companies at the end of the day are run like factories because you need a system, and you do the system over and over and over again. McDonald's knows how to make a burger because they have made billions upon billions of burgers, right? And they make the exact same burger the exact same way across all 25,000 locations or whatever. So that's number two. What is the system? And number three is, do we have the data to know how we're doing every single day? Because I think a lot of the good companies figure out, we measure everything, we track everything, we figure out what we're doing right, do more of it, we figure out what we're doing wrong, do less of it. And the only way you can do that is if you track everything, measure everything.
Got you. So going back to the McDonald's thing, and this is a selfish question. What about McDonald's do you think like helped them scale to that level? Because it's not the best burger,
So,
but it is a
so
good
well, I
price.
don't know if you've seen, but there's a movie. There's a movie or Netflix series. I forget what it is. YouTube keeps showing me clips about it, about the McDonald's story. Nowadays we go up to a restaurant, and whether you go to Burger King or Wendy's or Chipotle, and in like 2 minutes you're going to get food, right? In the 1960s, that wasn't the case. You go
Right.
to a restaurant, a burger restaurant, McDonald's. You would sit down for about, you would order, and you'd sit down for about 20 minutes, and you'd get something. Then you'd get something, right? It would be made to order. So what McDonald's really fundamentally figured out, and they were the first company that figured this out, is how do you make both machines and people and processes that can turn out a burger in 30 seconds. Okay. And the secret was they're not making the burger for you. The burger's already made. And they're only giving you like six different choices. So your menu at McDonald's is not 500 items. It's not like a diner, right? Where you get the big menus with 50,000 things on it. McDonald's innovation was, we're gonna give you food in 30 seconds, whereas everybody else takes 20 minutes. And that means not so much that we can charge you less money, but they sold you convenience. They were not selling you the best burger, they're selling you convenience. And now we take it for granted, right? But 60
Right.
years ago, everyone else has taken 20 minutes or an hour to make a burger, and there's these guys who can do it for 30 seconds for your entire family, so your kid's not screaming that he's hungry. That's amazing, right? Like, think of what you pay for
Yeah.
convenience in life.
Right. That makes so much more sense now that you paint the picture and you said in that way. It reminded me of a time in business. And this is when I was first like starting to like scale my credit repair business. I didn't understand the fundamentals of business. So I told my buddy, I was like, hey, I'm the best credit repair person. I can remove a late payment. I could do this. I could do that. He was like, if you're trying to scale your company to $1
That's
million,
tough. You're too
you
good. You're
shouldn't
too
think that
special.
way.
That you can't like the funny thing. They taught us this in business school is like, if you're a good CEO and you get hit by a bus, you know what should happen to the company tomorrow? Nothing. Nothing. If
Nothing.
you're a good CEO, you've built the company so it's not you, it is a company, and you're just part of it. So like great CEOs, when they get hit, nothing happens. Or if the CFO, gets hit by a bus or gets sick or retires, nothing happens because they built a system that is bigger than themselves.
So, what would you say is the transition of somebody who's a bootstrapper getting to the place of becoming a CEO?
Well, a bootstrapper is a CEO of a one man business or one woman business on day one, right? But look, the biggest thing that I think good CEOs do, whether they built their own company or whether they've been hired to run other companies, right? And up until about 2 months ago, I'd always been hired to run other people's companies. I just started my own thing a couple months ago with a business partner. But the biggest thing
Yeah.
I think good CEOs do is, again, they think of the company as something separate from themselves. It is not part of them, and they are part of it, right? The company is bigger than you, is bigger than your ego, bigger than your talent. And the day you start thinking of a company or the organization or your product as something different and bigger and better than you, then you start learning how not only you can contribute to that bigger dream, but how others can contribute to the dream. Whereas if the company is a part of you,
Mm,
you're ultimately going to be the ceiling, right? Because the company can never be bigger than
yeah.
you if it's part of you. Yeah.
So, when you say that, let me ask you this: how important do you think it is to build a personal brand when you try to build a company of that
Um,
magnitude?
Depends, right? Look, if you are Paris Hilton or Nicki Minaj, whatever, right? Like they're celebrities. Their brand is them, right? Like Beyonce, pick your favorite celebrity, right? Hugh Jackman
Right.
stands for something, right? There's a personal brand in music or media or entertainment. Tell me, what do you know about the personality of the CEO of Microsoft? They're $1 trillion company, one of
Nothing.
the top four biggest. What do you know about the CEO or the personality of Jeff Bezos? No, nothing, right?
True.
Right. So, like, yeah, their
Nothing.
company, yes, they may have personalities. They may have good things or bad things about them. They may be great at some things. They may be terrible at some things. They may be absolute a-holes. The thing is, we don't know because their Amazon is bigger than Jeff Bezos, right? He retired like 3, 4 years ago. Guess what? Amazon's still around, right? So
Right.
these like
So
these
yeah.
yeah. So
No, go ahead.
like
I'm sorry.
personal brands are important in certain lines of business, and they're probably important for all businesses when you're starting out. Like Bill Gates, when he was starting out at Microsoft, people probably knew about Bill Gates more than they knew about Microsoft in the 1980. But by the time you like 1995 rolled around, like no one knew anything about Bill Gates' personality. They just knew he was the richest man on the planet. He owned Microsoft or was the CEO, founder and CEO. But they knew about everyone knew what Microsoft stood for, right?
Got you. Like, is there like an ideal like point to your business to scale to before you stop thinking so much of personal brand and thinking about scaling the business
Yeah,
as
it's the
its own
moment
entity?
the business starts being better, when the business starts outgrowing your abilities. And that's different places for different people, right? The moment stuff needs to start happening where other people need to start making real decisions for the business to grow, the business is bigger than you. And if you don't realize that, you are stopping your own growth and success.
I think that's that I think for me personally, like the first decade in business, the biggest blockage in my business was me. I think I was the biggest roadblock in my business. Like me, it will be me not running the right amount of ads, not making the right amount of videos. And I'm looking at it because I'm hiring people, and it's the crazy thing. I was talking to my mentor about it, and I was trying this when I was first hiring my first employee. So going through hiring my first employee, I would hire somebody, it wouldn't work out. I would hire somebody else, it wouldn't work out. I went through like 10 people and I'm like, look, man, I'm trying to interview people. I'm hiring people and nobody's good. They all suck. He said, what if you sucked as a leader? What if you sucked as a CEO? That was one of the hardest pills to swallow. But he was right. It was my training process. Like I wasn't documenting everything when I was trying to train somebody. And I was trying to hire people based off giving them on skill and not processes. I should have somebody that's better than me at the activity and give them my process. Oh, the camera.
Yeah, no worries.
1 second.
You're back. Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah, and it was just like that. That was big for me to understand that I was the biggest roadblock in my business, and it was I had to get out of my own way and hire the right way and stop being cheap and hiring somebody who could actually do
I
the
agree,
job.
right? Like that, and that's a tough thing, right? Like we all go through that at some point.
Yeah,
We realize the world is bigger than us. There's people smarter than us. They could be smarter overall, or smarter at marketing, or smarter at computer science, or smarter at art, or whatever that is. We all go through that. It's a difficult challenge, kind of transition to
yeah,
make. But when you make it, you come out the other side a better leader.
exactly. So, what does a healthy business look like to you? Like, what numbers are you
Um,
looking at?
Okay, so there's lots of numbers you can look at, revenue and growth and profit, but those are kind of almost secondary to something called ROI, return on investment. And it's basically the idea that, hey, I just spent $1 on something. It could be $1 on hiring something, it could be $1 on a burger, it could be $1 on ads, whatever it is. How much profit did I get out of spending that dollar? Did I get 90 cents? Did I get a buck 20? So it's called return on investment. It's like if I spend $1 and I got $1.20 out, I made a 20% return on investment. And what good companies fundamentally do is every time they spend $1, they get more than $1 out of profits, not revenues, profits. And so whether you're
Mm,
talking Uber or whether you're talking a tiny startup or a billion or $1 trillion company, the core thing that they're all doing is they've figured out a decision making process, or the leaders making those decisions understand that when they're making an investment, they need to realize a return on that investment consistently. And any business that has a process to do that, if you consistently turn a dollar into $1.20, you do that a billion times. Guess what? You're worth $200 million, right? And the funny example,
That's
is,
by the way.
toothbrushes, right? Like think any toothbrush that you buy from like Colgate, Procter and Gamble, anywhere from your local grocery store, pharmacy, they make like 3 cents or 4 cents on each of them. But guess what? They sell a billion of them, right? So they make lots of tiny, tiny good decisions. But when you multiply a tiny good decision by a billion, you come out with a big positive number. And so that's what good businesses do well. They make good decisions consistently.
Yeah, so that's like
Yeah,
them
but
playing
and
the
you can do the
volume
opposite
game
too,
when it
right?
comes
Like
to like
Louis
the.
Vuitton doesn't sell a billion purses, right? Or let's use Hermes, right? More expensive than Louis Vuitton. Purses are $20,000. They only make a couple hundred or a couple thousand a year,
Yeah,
but they make a lot of money on every single one of them, right? And it's not the fact that they make money on
right.
selling them. It's that somebody made a decision that we are going to sell super high end purses. So it was the decision to make those purses and design those purses, not the
Right.
actual making of those purses. That's the easy part.
What do you think is a better game to play, the premium game or the
Depends what
volume
you're good
game?
at, right? Like it depends what kind of person you are. So I'm not like a high fashion person. I don't get that world. I don't get the premium world. I'm a believer in doing small things in volume. But look, there's on one side you have billionaires like the guy who owns Louis Vuitton. Not a lot of volume, but a lot of profit per. And then conversely, you have the CEOs of companies like Procter and Gamble or people who sell like make YouTube ads, right? Each YouTube ad only makes like a penny, right? But they do okay for themselves.
Exactly. Right, because everybody's doing it. My next question: what financial mistake do you see small businesses making over and over again?
Um, I think small businesses don't understand something called equity. And that's the idea that let's imagine your business made $50,000 and you pay yourself $50,000 as the owner. That's wrong. What you want to do is leave a little bit of money in the business that is separate from you. So small business owners, especially kind of owner CEOs or owner founders, they tend to distribute all of the profits. What you're supposed to do is realize how much money the business should have if it was a separate entity, not that you didn't own it, and leave that amount of business money in the business. And that's called proper capitalization or equity. Um, and people don't do that. They tend to like take every single dollar out of the business and then they guess what? If money's in your bank account, you're going to go spend it. Whereas if money's in the company's bank account, you don't spend it because it's not your money. It's the company's money, even if you own the company.
It took me about 8 years to understand what you just said. It sounds simple, but it's just like I couldn't see past
It's not. I mean, it's
overpaying
nice.
myself
Like if your
because
company
my
if your
mentor
company
was
made
telling
$100,000, it's nice to give yourself $100,000. Seems obvious. I own the company. What's the difference? But it turns out you own the company. You are not the company, right?
right, and it came back to us like I showed my mentor at the time my business, and he was like, "You stealing from the company?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "What's your salary?" I'm looking like I just take out what I need, and it was just like, and that was hurting my business so much, and I didn't understand how to hire. So that going to my next question, when you talk timing, when do you know when to hire or when to walk away from a growth opportunity
Sure. So
to
it,
see if
it
that
comes
even
down
makes
to
sense?
you figuring out what the value of your time is. So let's imagine you think that you can go make $50 an hour, either selling your next customer or going to work as a manager at McDonald's, whatever it is. Let's imagine you think you can make $50 an hour, right? Doing whatever you do in your business or working for somebody else. And if you can hire someone for $20 an hour
Mhm.
to do that task that you're wasting your valuable time on, hire somebody. It's simple as that. If you're spending an hour doing marketing and your time is worth $50 and you can hire somebody to do marketing for $20 or $25, you should hire somebody. It's really it's the value of your time.
That it's like you trying to simplify it and make it so much. It'll be something that I'll struggle with for years, and you'll just say something, simplify it. It's like, oh, I just need to do
That's my
that.
job, man. I'm a math guy, right? Like I figure out is 20 bigger than 50? That's all I do all day. Is if 20 is bigger, if 10 is bigger than 20, there's a problem. If 20 is bigger than 10, life is good.
Right. My next question for you: what's the difference between a bookkeeper and an accountant? Because most people get confused. Like a lot of people that I coach get
Okay.
confused
So
with the
there's
two of
kind of
them.
two main differences. Firstly, an accountant is a professional degree, right? Just like you are a doctor or a electrician, it is a formal qualification that you have to pass exams to, right? Like you don't just go to medical school, you don't learn some medicine and become a doctor. You have to pass exams and show that you meet a certain skill level. So that's number one. Accounting is a professional degree. You have to pass exams to get the account to become an accountant. You don't just get the accounting degree, then you have to go through exams after you graduate college. The second is the standard, which is the actual job that you're doing. A bookkeeper, typically, he or she's just looking at your bank account and saying, "Hey, you spent $20 in McDonald's. I don't know why I'm fixated on McDonald's. I'll switch to Burger King. Maybe I'm hungry. I'm hungry. That's what it is. You spent $20 on meals, and you received $100 from customer A, and customer B owes you $100, but they haven't paid. They just take what's on your bank account and write it into an accounting system. Okay, they're just recording what happened on paper or in a bank account on some accounting system. What an accountant does is kind of two things. Number one is he or she says, okay, but are these the right buckets that we're putting on? Did you actually spend, even though you spent $20 at this restaurant, what was it? Were you spending it on winning a customer, or were you spending it as a team event to make your team happier? Like, why did you spend that $20? Because it matters where you put it. The second is, and this is less relevant for small businesses, but for bigger businesses or businesses that own physical stuff. Let's imagine you own a forklift or a warehouse, or you own a whole bunch of computers, right? There's these funny accounting rules that you have to do by law. And not funny, they're important, right? Like a good example is, what's a good example? Okay, let's imagine you own a forklift, a big heavy piece of equipment worth $40,000. Okay, turns out if you bought that $40,000 forklift today, you're not allowed to tell the government you spent $40,000 today. What you're allowed to do is say, "Hey, I bought this for $40,000, but I'm only going to count $3,000 of this as an expense for each of the next 13 years." So a bookkeeper is not expected to know that. An accountant is expected to know that and do it right.
Got you. So you would say you probably
No,
would need
look,
both.
a small business probably just needs a bookkeeper. If it's let's imagine you're running a construction business, everything is cash. Like, I own a small rental business. When I pay my contractor to repair the roof, he sends me a bill for several like $6,000. That's easy. He's got a part-time bookkeeper that works like 5 hours a month. That's easy, right? Um, when you start becoming a
Yeah.
bigger, and he doesn't need an accountant, he can just use a bookkeeper. When your business grows bigger and has to think about proper tax reporting, or if you have investors, the standard for how good your books need to be rise, and you need to deal with all these technical rules that most bookkeepers are not qualified to do. In the same example, like, if you broke a leg, do I know how to put a splint on? Yes, I can take two pieces of wood, wrap a couple bandages, right? Will it keep you alive? Yes. Is it as good as a doctor would? No, right? That's the difference. And like ultimately, I'm gonna help you walk to the hospital, but you want somebody to do it right, assuming you don't want to walk with a limp for the rest of your life.
Got it. I think that paint the picture. With you spending a decade in the private equity space, what would you say you learned from private equity that most business owners don't get
Um,
exposed to?
I think two things. Number one is how to dissect a business really quickly. Like, I was working 100-hour weeks, right? 100 hours a week, 8 a.m. till midnight every day, like 6, 7 days a week. And the only way you get home and get any sleep is you get really fasted. So your boss gives you a 100-page PowerPoint and a bunch of Excel files and says, like, tell me what this business does and how it makes money and it's a good business or not. That's hard, right? And so you get really fast to figuring out, like, this is what
Yeah.
matters. This is what the business does. This is what's good and bad about it. That's number one. And number two is to understand, like, there's different ways businesses can make money. And I think, for example, the most obvious way people think about it is, hey, let's sell more, sell more of whatever, shoes, burgers, combs, hats, whatever. The second way is let's make more, we can sell the same amount of stuff, but we can make more money profit per item we sell. So same $100 shoe, but let's make $60 of profit instead of 50. How do you make that happen? And number three is, turns out you don't have to change how much stuff you sell. You don't have to change how much You profit you get per item, but you change how you divide the profits. How much share goes to me? How much share goes to you? How much goes to the government? And that's called capital structure. It's almost like, when you buy a house with a
Mhm.
mortgage, if there's three people you got to pay. You got to pay yourself because you put the down payment on the house, and over time you got to pay down your down, or not pay down. You got to make your down payment bigger. Number two, you got to pay the bank its loan. Number three, you got to pay the bank its interest. Number four, you got to pay the government their taxes, right? But you can chop up the pie. It's almost like chopping up a pie in different ways. Same total amount of money. How much belongs to the government? How much belongs to your bank? How much belongs to you? How much belongs to your employees? You can chop that up in very interesting ways to make everyone better off.
Got you. Do you think private equity firms look at business different than business operating
100%,
companies?
yeah. Like, look, when a private equity firm or an investor in general is thinking about how do we make this business better and more valuable, right? Whereas most executives, and it's not their fault, I'm in the same seat. When you're running a business, you're focused on running the business, right? You're focused on, hey, my employee got sick today, or a warehouse broke down, or our software's got a bug, right? You're very focused on the day to day. Sometimes you lose the forest for the trees.
Got you. I know that you are. We talked about it on our last call that you are a competitive poker player in the top 1%. How would you say the strategies that you utilize in poker transition to helping you with
It's
private
the exact
equity
same
and
stuff,
business?
man. Like, look, to be a good poker player or to be a good business person, I think you need at least three things. Number one, you need to understand math. You need to understand, like, and I'm not talking like I've got a degree in, the crazy math, but you don't need that math. You need to have a deep understanding of high school math. And that's good enough, but you need to actually use high school math to make decisions. You can't make gut feel decisions. You got to use math, right? Um, I mean, you don't have to do it in your head. You can do it on paper or a spreadsheet, whatever. But you need to like make decisions based on data, not emotion. That's number one. Number two, you have to have patience. It's like in baseball, right? When a pitcher throws a lot of pitches at you, most of the time you don't even want to take a swing. You just want to let the ball go by. The same is true in business. Lots of people come and give you lots of opportunities. You don't want to take them all. In poker, it turns out if you're playing poker well, guess how what percent of hands you play. Like a dealer gives you about 35 hands an hour. Guess how many you should actually be playing? Take a guess.
How
35 an
many does
hour,
a
give or
dealer
take.
give you? Let's say
Three.
25.
So that's the major
Oh,
problem, right? Almost every player.
hey, see, that's why
Yeah.
I
So,
stay
so
away
the,
from
the
the
biggest
poker
problem with
tables.
most people when they go to play poker at a casino, um, they're playing a lot of hands because they're playing to have fun, which is okay. But even players who want to play to have money, they're getting involved approximately 25, or they're playing about 6 or 7 hands per hour. Okay, out of 35. So that's about 20% of the time. Good poker players are playing like 4 or 5% of the time. And I'm not just saying me. I'm saying like you look at the best poker players in the world. Most of the time, they're just sitting there on their phone or reading a book or listening to music. They play for like 5 minutes every hour, right? Real poker is really boring, and you're just waiting for the good cards, the good position against an opponent who's going crazy. You're incredibly patient for the right pitch or the right opportunity, and it's not just good cards. You're waiting for the right situation.
And that's where it will come in. Like I guess, like the math and the risk
Yeah,
management, what you
math is
understanding
part of
that
it, but like
why.
for any beginning poker player can become profitable if they do two things. Number one, they almost never play hands. They cut down to like 3 hands an hour. Number two, they only play when what's called they're in late position, so they're very late. I don't know if you know what the dealer's chip or late position is, but there's 9 people seated around the table. You only play when you're in positions 8 or 9. You basically never play in any other position with less than aces. Um,
How, yeah, how long would you say it take like an average person that can comprehend really well to get good at
Decade. No,
poker?
well, okay. So here's the funny thing: most of the guys I play with, they've been playing for decades, right? And they all tell me, "Well, I've been playing since you were born," and they all lose money. So people can be playing for decades, but they don't understand how to win at the game, right? Me, on the other hand, I was profitable after about 3 months of playing. Uh, and I've made money ever since, right? I almost never have a losing session now. So it's not about the time you put in; it's understanding what makes the game. Again, let's go back to let's go back to football. I barely understand how the sport works. I literally don't know how many points a touchdown is. It 6? Is it 7? No idea. right? If I went and played football, like I would lose because I don't, no matter how many hours I put, unless I learn the rules of the game. And the problem with poker is most people don't actually even understand the basics of the game, and they're playing the game. It's like tossing a football around with your buddies. Like I did that when I was 12. No idea what the rules of football were. We
Yeah.
tossed the ball around and had fun. Poker is the same problem. Got
Yeah.
98% of people playing poker, they're having fun, but they don't even know the rules of the game, right? And I'm not, the rules aren't hard, right? But like, what are the
Yeah.
chances that you flop a? If you have 40 big blinds, what hand should you play? I don't have to do any math. I know off the top of my head, if you have 40 big blinds, you shouldn't be playing anything less than ace queen suited, out of position, or pocket nines, right? I just know that, right? It's because I've memorized the rules of the game. It's like, you go talk
Yeah.
to a quarterback. Do you think they have to think about the rules of football? No, they just know it down and it's not
No.
hard. That's their job, right? So they memorized it.
Now that I hear that and understanding the percentages, it'd be smart for me to just
Which is
stick
okay,
with
right? Well,
football.
to be clear, there's three reasons you play poker,
Yeah.
right? Number one, to win money. Number two, to have fun and gamble, right? Which is okay. And number three, just to socialize. Poker's a little bit different than, let's say, blackjack or slots, because you're sitting around a table with a bunch of guys and girls and like having fun, right? And so it's okay if you're doing that. When I play with my buddies, I'm not playing like serious poker because I'm just having a beer and grabbing some pizza, right? I'm not trying to win money. I'm better than them, but I'm not trying to win money off them. So like it's
Right.
okay to play poker as long as and as long as you know that if you don't have your that you're going to lose money unless you know the rules of the game, and that's okay if you're having fun doing it. Right? When you go to a bar and buy a beer, you just wasted $12. That's okay because you had fun doing it, right? That's okay. Having fun is okay as long as you know
There
why
you
you're
go.
going to the bar. If you're going to a bar and drinking a beer and thinking it's going to make you a healthier person, that is a bad reason to go to a bar, right? Alcohol is bad for you.
Right. Yep. Let me ask you a question. So let's just say, if you were out of business, what your poker skills you have right now, are you good
Yes, I
enough to
am.
make a living off of it?
I wouldn't be driving fancy. Well, I wouldn't. I don't like fancy sports cars. But let me put it this way: I could make a solid middle class living playing poker professionally if I wanted. And if I actually spent time getting good, I could probably like make a good living. The problem with playing poker professionally is it's a terrible life. You end up being a single guy traveling the world from tournament to tournament, or from Vegas to Macau to Berlin. It's like almost no professional
Yeah.
poker player has like a real family life or real friends or long-term relationships because they're always moving around, man.
Right. All right. Yep. I just learned a valuable lesson, so I'm gonna get back into business. What do you see Fortune 500 companies doing that companies under $10 million should be copying?
And capturing data. We kind of talked about it before. Like if you go to any Fortune 500 company, they just measure everything, right? They capture data on, like when you go to, pick your Google's website, right? Let's pick Google. When you go to youtube.com, right?
Yeah.
YouTube knows what time you showed up, what your name is, which videos you watched, how long you watched it. They collect all that and then they analyze it. It could be simple. Like McDonald's knows how many burgers they sold and how much profit they made per burger, and they know whether the chicken burger made more money today, or was it the ribs, or was it the Big Mac? Whereas if I was to ask a contractor who does work for me on one of my rental properties, I don't think he'd know exactly how much profit he made on a roof deck versus a fixing a drywall ceiling, right? And he should.
Got you.
He's a rich man, by the way. He's a rich man. He
Definitely
makes more
agree.
money than me, but he would make way more if he like actually spent a little bit of time like figuring out what are the good parts of business. He makes way more money on roof decks. I know this. He doesn't, so he should stop doing drywall and just do roof decks and roofs.
I think on that one you're talking to a lot of
Again,
people.
and it's not hard. It's just you gotta take some time off and think about, hey, where's my business better? Where's it worse?
Right. I see you said in another podcast that that it's good to be paranoid in business. So my question for you personally, what in business keep you up
Right
at night?
now, it is well, I think there's two things. One is who's trying to catch up to me, right? Who's trying to be whatever my company does well or whatever I do well, who's trying to beat me, right? It could be me or beat my company, whatever it is. Like which team is coming up, which company's coming up, which employee is trying to take my job, right? That's what scares me. Who's trying to be smarter or better than me? That's one thing that I've kind of always been paranoid about and gotten more paranoid about in a good way. The second is AI, right? I think, everyone's talking about how AI is going to take our jobs. As of a week ago, AI's you can now run a full time AI employee for about $1,200 a year. A smart AI employee that can do anything digital. And that's really scary. I think, people talk about this stuff is going to happen. AI is going to take our jobs. The reality is AI is now smart enough to take a lot of jobs, and it is happening. Like, one of the things that my firm now does is we built an AI CFO, right? It is smarter, that it is more capable than many human CFOs already, and we can charge 5% of what a full human CFO would cost, and that's terrifying, right? And the AI will come for all of our jobs very soon, and I don't think people appreciate how quickly this is going to happen. This is not 30, 40 years away.
Right. How reliable do you think that AI CFO is?
Ours somewhere between 85 to 95% accurate. But here's a funny thing. Okay, that doesn't sound great. Question is, what are you comparing against? What do you think the average human CFO's accuracy rate is? I'll ask you two questions. What do you think the average human CFO at a good company, what do you think their accuracy rate is?
I don't think it's near 85%.
It's about 77%. Okay. That's number one. So the AIs, even though they're, people think, the AIs aren't perfect. Yeah, they're not, but neither are human beings, right? Like, what's his name? Steph Curry, right? Greatest 3-point shooter in modern basketball. He doesn't hit every 3-pointer, right? Like, but turns out you can build a machine that hits more 3-pointers than Steph Curry today, and that's not hard. So it's like you don't to beat a human being, you don't need to be 100% because human beings aren't 100%. And then the second thing that people don't think about, okay, AI, so even assuming the AI wasn't smarter or more accurate, how much more can it do? It takes 1,000 times more shots on net, right? So imagine, Steph Curry shoots, I'm making up the number. Imagine he gets 90% of 3-pointers, okay? Imagine the AI only does 85%, so it's dumber than Steph Curry, but it takes 1,000 times more shots on net because it works harder, it doesn't sleep. Who wins? All right?
What would you say though? Like with the AI CFO, you would still need like somebody with that level of education to make sure it's spitting out the right things. Because when you say it's 85 to 90%, what about that extra 15 to 10%? Wouldn't you need somebody
yes
who will
and no.
understand it?
Ideally, yes, but at least for our clients, they're often starting at 0%, right? Many of them don't have any resource because it's really expensive to get a good CFO in place, right? Like a good CFO is costing $500,000 a year for a medium-sized company. So they're starting with 0. So the fact that we can get them to 80 or 85% is amazing, right? Because anything is better than 0. But here's the second thing, right? The reason we're 85% is kind of two things. Number one is we're, kind of a young company. We're 2 months old. And number two is that the technologies we're using aren't are not perfected yet, right? But every day, two things happen. The underlying technologies, the AIs and stuff get smarter. And number two, we get better at adding systems that check. So imagine the way good AI technologies work is you don't just have an AI, you have a second AI asking the first AI, hey, did you get it or did you do it right? So rather than a human being overseeing an AI, what good AI systems do is having one AI double check the work of the first AI. And then maybe a third AI, number fourth AI, because like if you're running, nuclear missiles, you don't have one AI or two AI or four AI. You probably have 100 AIs all checking each other because you don't want to launch a nuke by accident.
Got you. Would you? So I always argue this fact when it comes to AI because I hear a lot of people like in fear that AI is going to take their job,
and I would say that it's going to happen crazy fast. And unfortunately, I'm part of the trend, right? Guys like me are out there building these amazing thinking machines.
Right. And I would say that what I always say is the guy who learned how to manage AI and create and code with software, it will be the person that eventually taking over and
Exactly.
moving
Yeah,
ahead,
exactly.
which is
Look,
where you're
I
at.
don't
Great
think,
space.
the world that I was living in, many of the jobs that I've done, were highly paid, high, required of people who were very smart, worked really hard. But all of those jobs now I can do in, instead of taking 40 hours, I can do them in 5 minutes, because partially due to AI, but partially due to like traditional software. And what that means is, yeah, you got to be the guy who builds the software, or owns the software, or owns the AI. Otherwise, it's coming for us. And I don't mean in a Terminator, it's going to kill us. It's just going to like, it's smarter and faster than we are, man, as human beings. It's smarter and faster than me.
Right. So the software that you guys have built, what all problems would you
I
say
think
it
it does
solves for a
three
company?
things really well. First is, there's just in a lot of finance departments, there's a lot of grunt work involved, right? It's not high intelligence work, but it's work that's got to be done, right? Someone's got to do the accounting, someone's got to make sure the accounting looks right. So that's the first thing our technology does. It just takes care of some of the grunt work. Anybody can do it, but somebody has got to do it, right? It's like, you know, you
Right.
don't to do a good job at work. You don't. It's not. You need to have a good meal in the morning, right? Like, it's not brilliant. It's not hard to have a good meal in the morning, but you still got to do it every single day, right? Uh, or shower, right? You don't have to be too super smart to shower, but you still got to shower every morning. So that's number one. It does takes away a lot of the grunt work and automates that, particularly on creating the graphs and charts. That's the easy part. The second thing is, it checks for errors. So you were asking about, like, hey, accountants versus bookkeepers. How accurate is the AI? Human beings make mistakes, right? So there's accountants and bookkeepers. They make mistakes, and the second thing our technology does is looks through and tries to find those errors, because if you have bad data in your system, you're going to make bad decisions for bad data. And then the third thing it does, and this is where it gets really cool, is it says, okay, we have all this great data. What decision should we make? And it tells you now, hey, you can save some money by cutting this cost, or you can make more money by investing in here, or your business is really riskier than you think because you screwed this up. Like for one of our clients, 20 odd $1 million business, they were missing some insurance policies that could, like, if they got sued, they'd be in big, big trouble. The insurance policies weren't expensive. It would cost them, a couple $1,000 a year, but by spending a couple $1,000, they could avoid a $10 million lawsuit. That's amazing. They should do it, right? Um,
Right.
so stuff like that, like lots of things that, like, it's actually, now the technology's got, our technology, like, looks around your data and says, and understands a little bit about your business, says, like, you're missing this. You can do better by doing this. Make more money, cut costs, reduce the risk of your business, whatever. Same way like a good CFO would.
So it's like, so the software you guys created, just to get an understanding. So it's looking over like your whole business as the entirety and dissecting it on the
Exactly.
things
Yeah.
that you
Like,
need to
again, there's three
fix in the
parts. One
company.
is just doing a bunch of basic, like, graphs and charts that every finance department has to do. Number two, it's making sure all the data looks right, and that's a hard job. And number three is, okay, let's dissect the business and figure out how you, Rayshawn, should run your business better. What can you do right now to make your business more profitable next month without a lot of effort, without a lot of money involved? Because that's important, right? I can say, like, hey, you should go hire 100 people. That's hard, right? So our software really focuses on
Right.
the easy stuff that you could do right away and make more money tomorrow, or next month. Typically, is what we say.
Okay, so somebody who utilizes this software, where should their business be before they're ready
So
for,
the first
to
two
like
parts of our
implement this
software are
into their
completely
company?
free. We offer that up at our website, eaglerockcfo.com. The first two parts are totally free. So if you're a $10,000 revenue business just getting started, you should use our software. Totally free, no strings attached. The third part, which we charge for, is like, hey, how do we help you make more money tomorrow? I think it starts becoming useful for a business after they have about $1 million revenue. Maybe you could go down to about five, not because it's expensive. We charge $500 a month for our software, so not super expensive. But I think it the when you're running like $100,000 or $200,000 business, you kind of know what you need to do tomorrow to make your business better off, right? You need to sell a customer, you need to make more shoes
Right.
or whatever it is. Once you start getting to like $1 million or $5 million businesses start getting complicated. There's lots of things going on, and you gotta focus on you gotta not lose the forest for the trees. And our software does really good at that.
Got you. So let's say you download this software. Like, What does that look like downloading this software? Like, are you implementing like
So there's no
your
downloads involved.
email,
It's on the
your
cloud, just like
CRM?
Gmail. You log in, you click sign in with Google or sign in with your email, just like you sign into any other website, and you connect your accounting system. It takes 30 seconds. So you go in. If you were to go to our website right now, click sign in with Google, connect your accounting system, you'd be done in 30 seconds, and you'd start getting graphs and analysis and all sorts of cool stuff.
Even
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the free
100%. Again,
version
the
as
only thing
well?
that we're charging for right now is the thinking part of our tools, which is like the almost think of it like as the advisor or the mentor that tells you how to make your business better. That's what we charge for. All the graphs and the error checking and forecasting stuff we give away totally for free, literally right now.
Got you. So yeah, I'm actually going to
You should.
utilize that
Again, like
myself.
it cost me 1 penny per company per month. So my business partner and I said, like, it's so cheap for us. Like, if a million businesses signed up, I might be in trouble. But like, hey, if a few hundred businesses if 500 businesses start using my software, it's cost me $5 per month. So what is that? $60 a year. I'm okay with spending $60 a year to help 500 business owners out.
Right. No, I definitely get that. Why would you say why software? What made you go that
Um,
direction?
I think we saw an opportunity, right? So the opportunity we saw was, look, CFOs are really expensive people. They're very smart people, good people it doesn't have to be CFOs. Good business executives are smart, but they are expensive because they know they're smart, right? Um, and so what that means
Right.
is the really good business leaders, they go work for big companies who pay lots of money. Or let them do cooler things. It doesn't have to be money. It's, even if there's just cooler things you can do at large companies or make a world impact, right? Um, Smaller companies, they can't afford a half million. If you're running a $5 million revenue business, you can't afford a 10 million or $500,000 CFO, right? That's expensive. So how our thought was, okay, small businesses can't afford this amazing intelligence. It's expensive. But the technology now has evolved to the point where we can build technology that solves this problem for them at something they can afford, right? Like they can't afford what is it? 500,000 is $40,000 a month. Most businesses can't afford paying one guy or gal $40,000 a month. Can you afford paying $2,000 a month? Yeah. So that's the opportunity we saw. It is now possible for a couple hundred or a couple $1,000s a month to give you the same intelligence and analysis and advice you would have to pay somebody $40,000 a month for a few years ago. And that's really cool, right?
Right. So I got a
Yeah.
question to piggyback off that. So let's say, what do you think is harder? Scaling the company from 0 to 100,000 or scaling the company from 1 million to 10 million?
0 to 100,000. We're going through that right now. Look, it's we have an amazing product, but it's sitting there to win customers every day. We're out there talking to, we're talking to 40 or 50 prospects every single week. It's a grind. It's hard. My business partner's built a business before, but this is my first time doing it. It's hard, man. I've scaled multiple businesses. Once they already have a couple $1 million in revenue, I've scaled like three of them. That's a lot easier because the business model is there. We know that the business makes money. Now it's just do more of it, like do more of it and make a system and an engine and a machine. At least for me, that's a lot easier than like going from 0 to 100,000. Like getting that first little bit of business.
Got you. So you would say because you have the process, the system, and you obviously have the money to
Well, I
scale,
don't know whether we have
that
the
will buy
money to
you
scale.
speed.
The problem with our software, not the problem, the challenge.
No, I meant from the company going from 100,000 to the company going to 10 million. You would say it's easier
Yeah,
because the
well, the money is
system and
not
they
usually
have
the
the
limiting
income.
factor for businesses, right? If you have a good business, you're going to find the money. Either you're going to make the money yourself, or somebody's going to lend you the money, like venture capitalists or banks or something. So money is once you have a good system in place for a business, you will find money. So money's rarely the problem. Money tends to be a problem when you don't have a good system in place because smart investors will look at your business and say, Rayshon, where's the system, right? I don't want to bet on Rayshon. I want to bet on
Mm,
Rayshon's system. Uh, so that's what good venture capitalists or private equity folks do all day, especially venture capitalists, right? When they're going to talk with founders, yeah, it's nice to have great founders and CEOs, but what they want to figure out is what is the system? Why will this business get better every single day, right? It's again going back to
got
Google,
you.
like
So when you
Microsoft or
say,
Google, right? Like, yeah, the CEO is great and they're smart and amazing, intelligent human beings, but Microsoft has a system that it's been doing for 40 years. And that's why it's around 40 years later.
Got you. So would you say like having a good system is the most important element
Yeah,
to
you have to,
scaling the
well, you need
business?
two things. Number one, you need to sell a product that people want, whether that be shoes, whether that be burgers, whether that be massages, whatever that is. Something you're selling something that people want. And then number two, you got to have a system to do that a million times over and over and over and over again. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So what does a good system? Yeah. What does a good system look like in
A good
business?
system I think, has three characteristics. Number one is every single time you run the system, it makes money. Number two, every time it's predictable. Every time you run the system, it does the same thing. It's like, you turn your tap on your kitchen faucet. What happens? Water comes out. You turn your tap on tomorrow. What happens? Water comes out. You do
Right.
it every single day. It's a system, right? The exact same thing. It's not like one time you turn it on and Kool-Aid comes out, right? Like always water will come out. So that's number two, predictability. Um, and number three is visibility. You can measure, did 1 gallon of water come out or half a gallon or whatever. And it's okay. Stuff will always change a little bit, but you should be able to measure it. So that, I think those are three characteristics of system. They are individually good, meaning they make money every time you run the system. Number two, they're predictable. They don't do crazy things, right? And number three, they are measurable.
Hmm. Got it. That sums it up. And I think you did a really good job of painting the picture and driving your points home on that. Because it makes a lot of sense to me as well. I would say because earlier you spoke on like something that would have took you a long time to do. Now utilizing AI, you can get done in 5 minutes. What do you think that the regular, like the average business owner is doing wrong when they're utilizing
So I
AI?
think there's this thing called the level hierarchy to AI. Think of it almost as like how good a user you are. Are you high? Are you in elementary school? Are you high school? Are you college graduate or PhD? Not in terms of degrees, but like how good a user you are at AI. Level one users are basically, level zero are people who aren't using AI. Level one are people who are using it as a chatbot or a research tool. So instead of Googling something like Googling, like, who's the tallest man in the world, you ask AI now. That's like a level one user. They're using it like a chatbot or a research tool instead of Google. They're just using it in place of Google. Give me a recipe for garlic bread, right? Or where's the nearest Chuck E. Cheese's? That's a level one user. A level two user is saying, how do I solve this problem? You're asking it to solve a problem for you, to think for you. A level three user then is saying, okay, you told me how to do it for me now, right? So like, and a level four user then says, okay, you're just acting without me. I'm not even involved. I'm not even talking to you. You're just doing work by yourself for me. And I'll give you an example, right? Let's imagine your goal was to go to on a vacation to somewhere, right? A level zero user doesn't talk to
Mhm.
AI. They'll like go research on Trip Expedia or a TripAdvisor Expedia or talk to their friends. A level one user will say, "Hey, how much?" Go to one of these tools and say, "How much is a ticket to Thailand?" A level two user will say, "Hey, I want to go on a vacation somewhere. I can afford $2,000 and I'm free these weeks. Where should I go?" And the AI will give you like 20 different options and say, "Well, turns out you were thinking of Thailand, but that's a bad idea. You should actually do Japan in March." Because you like baseball and it'll be spring, there will be the cherry blossom festival or whatever. And a level three user would actually just have AI book all the tickets and vacation. There'd be, just AI would stick it on their calendar that, hey, on March 4th at 3 p.m., you need to drive to the airport and Uber will be here to pick you up. Right. And now level four is not super useful for like real world tasks. It's like then it does it for you. So like our tool is somewhere between level three and level four. It does the thinking for you and then like tries to do a bunch of the work for you as well. So that's what most small businesses are kind of at
Got
level
you.
one. They're using it like Google. Where the real power of AI emerges is starting to level two, where it starts to think for you, level three, where it starts to do for you, and level four, where it does for you without you telling it to.
Mm. What would you say some of the
They're
best
all the
AIs
same.
is to
They're all
use?
within like 5% of each other. It doesn't really matter. If whether you use Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT, Minimax, Kimi, there's hundreds of these. They're all, yes, some are a little bit smarter, a little bit better at X or Y, but turns out any of the top 10 models are smart enough that the average user won't notice a difference.
Got you. So you would say most people in business just utilizing AI should go from that level one to figuring
Exactly.
out
I
the
think
level two to
power,
three.
almost anyone in the world of business is doing level one. Like you ask it to write an email to your mom or like research something. Almost everyone's at level one in the world of business. People, level two is a little bit scary. You're asking the AI to think for you. That's scary, right? Because we're the thing that makes us special as human beings is we're
Yeah.
thinking. We've always been told like be a critical thinker, right? That's what school's supposed to teach us. Now I have AI do critical thinking for me, right? And then level three is like you go a step further. You don't just ask it to think; you ask it to do, just like an employee, right? Like if you have somebody working for you, you don't just say like you want them to solve a problem, right? You tell them you're hungry. You want them to figure out, hey, Rayshawn uh, likes cheddar, but he doesn't like milk. He likes chicken. He doesn't eat beef for religious reasons. But you don't want them just to think about that you eat chicken but not beef. You want them then to go to like Chipotle and get you a chicken burrito, right? Same. That's where kind of level three and
Right.
level four happens, where the AI starts thinking about you and then actually does something about it for you, just like the way an employee would.
Right. Okay. So let me. So I want to tell you the way I use AI, and I want you to
Sure.
tell me where you think I'm at. So this is how I utilize it, and I've went through those phases like what you saying at level one. So I use Claude. I'll do a brain dump of everything
Yeah.
like this on my mind about my business. I'll tell it everything. I'll put all that information in there. Then I'll make a project, and then I'll go back and ask it to be my mentor on that topic. Like, hey, I need content today. Tell me why you're doing this and why I should choose
So
this.
you're somewhere between level one and level two. You're using it as a research tool and you're asking it to give advice. You're not asking it to, but you're still telling it what to do, like give me content. How about you ask it, tell me what I should do? Literally, like you tell me, you're my boss. You, the AI, are my boss. I'm your arms and legs in the real world. And it should be telling you, Rayshawn, you need to make a video for, about yellow Pikachu, or sorry, green Pikachus with bad credit scores, right? It should be telling that to you. And all you should be doing is literally being its arms and legs. Like you are working for the AI, as scary as that sounds. That would be level two. So you're somewhere
Got you.
you're
Okay,
beyond
so
level one
now I
because you're
see where
starting
I'm
to
going.
engage in complex conversations and task planning, but you're not quite to level two where you've now become it's become your boss.
Got you. My last question for you about the software: would you say it's for certain
Our
niches and
software can work
businesses,
for
or would you
anything
say
from
it work across the
nonprofits
board?
to construction. It's agnostic. It doesn't care, right? Because numbers are numbers. So, and it understands the difference between like a business that makes shoes versus truck versus does industrial manufacturing versus Hollywood ads. So our software, and again, AI in general, not this is not special to our software. Most good AI tools can kind of do it all as long as they're properly tuned to do it all.
Got you. So now I'm gonna reverse this and kind of use your strategy and get away from
It's
level one.
scary, man.
So
It's
I'm gonna
scary,
pretend
right?
that you're
I
the
still
AI.
sometimes fall back to level one or level two, saying like I'm telling it to do stuff instead of like it should just go do stuff, man.
Right. So now let me ask you this: what about your software have I not asked you that you want your ideal client to
um,
know?
Honestly, we've kind of talked through it all. The big thing I'll just kind of name drop for a second. Our website is eaglerockcfo.com. Everyone should be using it. It's for like 75% of our software is free, and other people are charging you between 20 to $200 a month for that part, right? We give it away for free. It takes 30 seconds to
Yeah.
set up. No weird, you don't need to know anything about math or accounting or whatever. It's just like you sign in with Google or you sign in with your email, and then you click one more button to connect it to your accounting system, and you're done.
Oh, I'll be on there tonight. I'm pretty sure I got a
That
couple
would be
buddies
awesome.
that'll
Well,
be
again,
on there
like
tonight because you
I, the
can't beat
more
it.
people use it, it's awesome for us. Not only because it gets the word out, but because then we can make the product better. Because if you say, Nick, like I don't like this, or like I'll give an example. Like we have a part in there that does what's called budget versus actual. It helps people plan for what their business should do next year for over the next year, and then every month it says like, hey, you missed your goals or you beat your goals. And one of the guys out who's
Yeah.
using the free version of our software sent me an email about 2 days ago. Nick, I don't like having to do my own plan for the next year. Why doesn't the tool just do my plan for me and then tell me every month whether I'm keeping with the plan? I'm like, that's a good idea. Why doesn't our tool just like tell you what your goals for next year should be? Right? Because in the world I grew up in
Yeah.
like in the
So
world when I was running companies, I made the plan, right? But he was right. Like, why doesn't the tool just make the plan for you? And I'm like, oh, I was thinking like 5 years ago that wasn't possible. Now it is possible. The tool can make the plan for you. That feature I haven't built,
nah,
but
yeah,
it's
that's
now on my
great.
list of things to build because like somebody else gave me a great idea, and I'm like, okay, when I get a few hours, I'll go build it. It's not that much. It's like a few hours of work. I just need to sit down and go do it.
So how do you decide, like, as far as like on the creative side, the ideas of what you should put into the software? Do they all
So look,
come
I've
from
got a
you, or how
business
does that
partner.
work?
There's a couple basic things that just need to happen in finance that the two of us have hammered out because we've run again like seriously sized companies. Other ideas come from AI. I ask AI to be my boss and tell me what I should do. Other ideas come from our customers. And by the way, not all ideas are good. If there's bad ideas in there, we build a feature and like if it's a bad feature or no one's using it, we kill it. Same as any other software company.
Smart. Next thing for you, where do you see this company in the next 5 years? I want you to imagine what that looked like. I want you to tell it to me, and I want you to come back here in 5 years and you
So
say,
look,
we did it. We
who knows? We're
accomplished it.
two
What does
months
that
into
look
this. We
like
may
for you?
not be around in 5 years. AI may have turned into Terminator and truly killed us all as human beings. If our company's around in 5 years, I think we would have done one thing really well, which is show people that they can have a smart AI mentor who understands finance and can serve them the same way a $500,000 CFO. If we crack that problem, and again, we're early, where it seems like we are cracking it, maybe not have cracked it totally, then kind of two things will be true. Look, there's 3 million small businesses of our target market in the United States. Okay. If we could charge 1% of them, that's 30,000 businesses, we could charge every one of them $500 a month. That is $6,000 a year. It was a 300,000 businesses, sorry, 30,000 businesses at $6,000 a year is 30 million times six is $180 million in potential revenue. That would be nice.
Where's your calculator? Where
Right
did you
here,
get
man.
that math from?
God's calculator, right?
I'm still over here counting on my
This is what
hands trying to
again
figure it
like.
out.
We go back. I think we chatted. You were a football guy, right? Like if we this look, I
Yeah.
can't play football worth squat. I can't do math. That's what I do for a living. That's what I like went to college for. That's what I like. I like doing math, right? So like crazy math I just did.
Yeah.
3 million businesses, win 1% of them. That's 30,000. Each customer's worth $6,000. That's 30 million times six. That's $180 million of revenue. That's what we're trying to do. I don't think we'll get there in 5 years. But like, hey, can 1% of that goal be at uh, $1.8 million in revenue in 5 years? That would not be bad at all, right? Actually, $1.8 million is not
Right.
ambitious
And it
enough.
just,
I think $180 million is too ambitious, and 1.8 is not ambitious enough.
why? No, why do you say 180 is too
So to get
ambitious?
180 here, the limiting factor in our model fundamentally is this is a conscious decision. Our clients still want to talk to a human being, even if an AI or software is doing most of the thinking. They want to talk to someone. To serve in 30,000 businesses means I need to have about 1,000 employees, and hiring 1,000 people is hard, right? That's a lot of people to hire and manage. And not we could do it, but that's not something that happens overnight, right? Again, you got to build systems for that. We have the technology system and the money
Right.
system figured out. We don't have the people system figured out because we haven't had to worry about it right now. We're two guys and a computer and a couple of customers. I'm underweighting. We're two guys and
Got
some
you.
very smart computers and some very good customers.
There you go. And out of your math, the only thing I was able to calculate is how you got the
By
6,000
12.
with the
Yeah.
500 times 12. That was all I got. I figured
But
out
again,
that
that's what
part, so I'm getting
see.
somewhere.
That's what I just mean. Like going back, small businesses can't afford to hire guys like me because we charge $500,000 a year. You probably can't. Just bluntly, you probably are not. Your business is probably not big enough where you could afford to pay me full time, right?
Oh,
Okay,
it's
it's
not
not. But
probably. It's not.
imagine you could hire me
There's no
for
problem.
$500 a month. That sounds kind of cool, right? That might be interesting for you, right?
Exactly.
And
I like that number
that's
a lot
exactly
better.
the problem. You would love to hire somebody as as smart and as expensive and as talented as me, but you can't, right? It's not the right business. You should not hire. It would be, unless your business is like $20 million of revenue, and I don't know, maybe it is, but you should not be hiring somebody like me. We're too expensive full time, right? But if you could hire,
Right.
if I could, if you, I could work for you, but I have AI do 95% of the work for me, then I can charge you 5% of the normal price. That becomes exciting for you. Or what if I could charge you 1% of that price? That becomes really exciting for you, right? Like if I charge you
Right.
$5,000 a year instead
So
of
would you say
500,000, now all of a sudden you're like, okay, Nick, I might want to hire you. And you don't care, right?
right?
Like you don't. Do you
Nah,
really care if I'm
definitely.
doing the work or if an AI is doing the work or if software? No, you don't care as long as I'm helping you make your business better.
I could care less. If the work get
Exactly.
done,
I
I could
mean, you
care
may want
less
to see my
how.
pretty face on a call once in a while. Or my business partner, he's a better looking guy than I am. But like,
Hey, it wouldn't hurt to talk poker a little
let's
bit.
play poker, man. How much money you got? And how much money you want to put on the table?
Hey, I'm not in the
Maybe
donating. It don't sound like I got a chance. I don't like my
your odds would
odds.
not be good. But again, when I play for with friends or for fun, I'm not loan sharking. Back before COVID, me and my buddies used to run a monthly poker game, 25 50 cent blinds. We each bought in for
Yeah,
$20. We spent more money on pizza, scotch, and beer than we actually did on the poker table. Yeah, we were just screwing around, and that was fun.
yeah. Is that your favorite like activity as far as like
So
sports,
look, no, I grew up
like
playing a
poker?
lot of sports. I played soccer, I swam, I played hockey, I ran. So I do a lot of sports, but never super competitively. Poker's nice because it's a good, again, as I mentioned, like when you're playing at a poker table seriously, most of the time you're doing something else. So when I go play poker, I watch cartoons and read books. Like there was one a few months ago was the last time I played. I read half of a famous book. I watched like 3 hours of cartoons from a cartoon that I loved in my childhood that I felt like gave me good, happy feelings. And people are seeing me like reading books and listening to music and playing cartoons and shooting the shit.
Hey, look, I'll raise you. I'll trade you my ability to play sports. You'll be able to dunk a basketball and all,
Yeah, but
but
I
I
don't want
want
to
your
dunk a
brain, and
basketball
I
and
want this.
that's not my talent in life, right? That's not my passion in life, right? Like some guys like playing basketball. I that's not what, like I love running, right? But I don't really care if I run fast. I just like running because it's like almost like meditation.
And that was one of the most valuable lessons that one of my close friends that was good in business taught me. We went to a mastermind, and I was just looking at people, and I did what I do in sports. Like I was looking at people, sizing them up. In business, I brought my mindset from sports. I'm looking at people, sizing them up, and I'm looking like I could do everything he doing. I could speak better than him. He said, "Listen, Rayshawn, in here, this is the NBA. In the NBA, that's Michael Jordan, and you can't even make the G League." I said, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." And that put
There's
it
always
all in
somebody better.
perspective
There's
with me.
always somebody bigger
And
and
I
better,
teach that.
right? Like
I
they
say
always
that to a
they
lot of
tell you
people.
TV. There's always a bigger, there's a bigger, hairier monkey out there. I think is the joke, right? Like somebody's better than you out there. It's a big world, right?
Right, coming into the business
We're
space
all
now, I'm a
small fish,
small
man. But
fish,
like the
having to
world has
scale
got
my way
7 billion people, right? There's someone out there that is better than you at everything.
up.
Someone better than me out there at everything, right? Like the first time I met somebody better than me in math was college. I was like, oh wow, the level of like the game just got raised, right? The ceiling just got raised.
Yeah, yeah. But going to Harvard, man, talk about
I
how did you get
applied,
into Harvard?
worked my butt off, and somebody took pity on me, I guess.
Finishing at the top of your class at Harvard, I barely got into college.
Again, I've got family
Without
members
sports,
who
I
didn't
don't know if
graduate
that
from
happened
college.
for
It's not for everyone. It was my thing, but that's not everyone's thing, right? Like,
me. Yeah, I actually
yeah.
do got another question for you. If somebody is looking to get in business, let's say they 16 trying to figure it out, do you suggest for them to get a mentor and get right into business, or do you suggest college?
Well, that's a hard one. Look, I don't think college teaches you about business. What college does really well is Number one, it introduces you to all sorts of different people that you might not meet in your neighborhood or your city or whatever your parents do, right? Different sorts of people. People whose parents are presidents and people whose parents are janitors, right? That's kind of number one. Outside your socioeconomic or your racial group, you'll just meet lots of interesting people, and you'll realize the world is a big place. The second thing college does, and this depends on people, is it teaches you how to think really hard. That's only true, by the way, if you take hard class. If you coast through college, yeah, you got the degree that'll help you get a job, but you never you wasted 4 years and never once got asked a hard question, right? That you were like, oh, how do I do
Mm.
this? And you had to figure it out. So that I think those are two valuable skills. None of them will teach you about business, but they will. Those are valuable skills. Like how do you interact with somebody who's from a different walk of life, right? How do you solve a problem that you've never encountered, because that you encounter that every day in the world of business. Very few interesting problems in the world of business are problems that were solved before, right? So that you learn how to solve difficult problems, and that you benefit from that in college. Now, I don't know, honestly, I don't know whether college will be around in 20 years. I think AI is going to like take away the entire point of a college degree.
See, now you're raising different questions. So, do you think that that's partly the reason? Because, like, as everything else elevate and change, like you see college, it's the same thing. It's textbook, the same lecture, same class, same exams. Do you think it's because they're not elevating?
No, I
Do
look.
you
I
think
think
that would be the main
college.
reason?
Look, most it's like look, when you start out education, you got to learn the letters. Then you got to learn the words. Then you got to learn the sentences. Then you got to learn the meanings of those sentences. The same as like most people when they go to college, they're not like doing amazing, groundbreaking work, right? I didn't create any new things when I was at college, right? I learned what other great people or smart people had done. That's why it's the same. And like, look, if you're learning how to do algebra, algebra is the same whether you're in China or Japan or France or the US. And so every college kid in a first year math class learns algebra. If you are in a first year English class, you read a little bit of Chaucer, you read a little bit about Margaret Atwood, you learn a little bit about Shakespeare, right? Everyone does the same. It's not about elevation. It's like you got to learn the fundamentals, right? When you learn how to run, you learn how to run back and forth a million times, right? Every single running back or every single sprinter learns to run the same way. Even if some go to the NFL, some go to the NBA, and some just become like recreational joggers like me.
Right. Yeah, because I thought that with that question, I thought that you would be the perfect person to ask because you're somebody who went in and scaled businesses, and you're also somebody who went to business school. Like I went to college, but I studied communications. So once I get out of college, getting into business, I didn't know the first thing. It took me a year
Yeah.
to get an LLC. People was telling me get an LLC. I had no idea what that was. And then it got to a point where I get with a mentor and he teach me in 6 to 8 weeks how to go and scale and get $100,000. And then I get to another level and get another mentor to teach me how to make $100,000 in a month. And I think back to like college, like I'll see some people to get a 4 year degree that don't get a job, that work a traditional job. So to me, I think that it would make more sense if you're looking to get in business to get a mentor versus to go to college for the 4 years.
I
Do you
agree,
agree or
but
disagree
there's
with that?
more to life than making money. So yes, I agree with you. Like if you will learn more from somebody who teach you about business. It's like crack open a business book to learn about business. You don't crack open an English book or a math book or an art book to learn about business. A mentor is almost like a book, right? Like he or she's going to teach you something very specific about something you care about. In your case, business. But the thing where I disagree with you on is like, look, business boils down to kind of two things. You're creating value for somebody else, whether you're selling them a burger, a shoe, software, whatever. And number two, you're capturing a benefit for yourself. So you create $100 of value for the world, you take $10 for yourself. So it basically boils down to creating value and capturing value. Um, that's not everyone's goal in life, right? Like there's a lot of people out there who do something for passion, do something for the betterment of the world, do something because they are called, they feel a feeling for a call from God, right? So yes, look, if your sole goal in life is to kind of succeed in business, your way is probably better. But the thing I would caution is like, there's lots of things in life that are not just about, getting a job and making money or starting businesses.
Got you. Now, I definitely see your point of view on that. And I speak to, because that's what I would tell to business owners. like people who's looking to get in business. Like I know some people who want to be entrepreneurs, but they want to go the school route and go to business school and
Yeah,
then
don't go to
come into the
business school. It's way too
entrepreneurship
expensive.
world.
You don't. It's not going to really help you. Honestly, don't pay for business school. Don't go to business school. Is my advice.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted
Yeah,
to pick your mind on that. And I think it's refreshing to hear somebody who's actually like walked the walk and like you've went to a business school at the highest levels and graduated at the top of your class. So it's
my
like your
opinion is,
opinion in
look,
that
it's
is
nice to
very
have Harvard on
valuable.
your resume. Like going to Harvard Business School means you can get to say you went to Harvard and people talk to you because a lot same way you're talking to me, right? Did I learn anything? No.
Right.
So uh, I would say, and that's true almost at any business school. You know, maybe there's a few business schools or one or two classes out of the 20 where I learned a little bit, but mostly no. And I think that's true at most business schools. You're there for the brand name. You're there for to get a job. Are you going to come out a smarter person at the other end? Probably not.
Huh. You just closed so many debates for me. You have no idea what you just did for my debates. Hey, I was just gonna be play
Hey,
the tape.
don't pay $100,000 to go to business school and learn nothing at the other end and get a piece of paper. I don't even know what my degree is, man. If you
Hey,
notice,
don't be
I have
surprised.
action figures on my wall, not college degrees, right? Like,
I did not know. I didn't see. So in our pre-interview, I saw it, but
yeah.
it
So
didn't
like
click until you just said it.
so I do care about my college diploma because I learned a lot there, and like I got smarter coming out of college. But my business school degree, I think, is sitting in my parents' basement in Canada. Um, uh, right? Like I think we were there in Christmas, and I was like, "Oh, there's where my diploma went." I have no idea. Like I was the first time I'd seen it in like 10 years.
Wow. I mean, it is a
Yeah,
nice
but like
status piece,
I
though.
don't
I
care
will
about it.
say
I think a
that.
lot of people again, like yeah, like Harvard means something. It's in all the movies. It makes you sound smart. I don't think I care about it. It helps me start conversations, right? It's a good conversation starter. But stuff up there that gives me a lot more joy. The giant fighting robot, the guy with the big sword, the guy with the little sword and a broken arm. Uh,
How
he
did he
was a
break his
knight
arm?
who tried to fight like an evil. His name is Knight Artorias. He's the little one second skinny guy right there. Um, he went by himself to fight something called the void. Is the void? Yeah, something like the void or the darkness, and he eventually got succumbed to it.
Yeah.
And one of the monsters of void broke his arm and then corrupted him, and then he becomes a boss in the game because he was one of the best, like the best good guys, and then he becomes evil because he got corrupted. And it's just a very sad thing. He walks up, he's got a broken arm, and he's still trying to fight against you, partially because he wants to keep you from getting corrupted by the void.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah,
So it came
yeah.
that
It's
way.
not a broken. It's not. I mean, the toy's broken. The character's game. It's from a game called Dark Souls. His arm is broken because he broke it in the game. That's why it's like hanging down awkwardly.
So got you. So okay. So we already discovered that I have no chance in poker. Okay. So do I
Oh
have a
yeah, I'm
chance of
terrible
beating
at it.
you in
I enjoy
gaming?
it. I'm not a big gamer, but I play and I'm terrible at it. But it's fun. All these games, right? Like they're just fun. It's like why do you do something? There's lots of things in life you do that aren't you're not good at. That I'm terrible at, right? Um,
Yeah. What's your version
I
of
failed
terrible?
third grade art. I can't. I got kicked out of choir in seventh grade because I'm tone deaf. Uh, I literally can't say. I could not. I could. I can't hum "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star." That's how bad I am. I literally can't because I can't hear music. I literally can't hear music, man. Um, so how bad at art do you have to be to fail third grade
So
art? I failed third grade art. How bad do you have to be in eighth
so when
grade?
you say yeah.
Sorry,
So
one
when you
second. In
say you
eighth
tone
grade,
deaf,
I got kicked out of choir. That's like the
yeah.
participation sport activity that people do. I was so bad that they wouldn't let me in a participation club. Right? Absolutely
Is
true
that a
story.
true story?
Eighth grade, I got kicked out of choir, and my friends made fun of me all the way through graduation. Like, how do you get kicked out of the one team that doesn't kick? There's no tryouts, and you still got kicked out.
See, now it forced me to ask you about gym class.
I
Well,
was
no,
okay.
you
I
were
was
you were
okay to
good at
good. I
sports
wasn't.
in
I was.
school.
I'm never going to get into the
Yeah.
NBA or the NFL, but I was like, in good shape.
Right. And you was good
Good
enough for
enough for
bar
what?
talk.
What do you mean bar talk?
Bar talk. sitting at the
Oh
bar
yeah.
reminiscing sports.
Good enough for that. Yeah, I know what the sports are. I've played them all. Again, I'm never going to be, never was it was never in the cards for me to be play pro in anything. Never, you don't play pro when you're 5'6", right? Anything, maybe soccer.
Hey, you got the skill that matters, though.
Yeah,
Yep, I'm gonna close it out on that one. I want you to let people know where they can follow you at, and if they had any
yeah.
questions about the software. And I'm also gonna put all of the information down in the description. Let
Perfect.
people
So
know
our
where they can
website is
follow you at.
eaglerockcfo.com. No funny letters, eaglerockcfo.com. You can sign up free for our software. Just click client, log in. Super easy. It's signed in with Google, all that fun stuff. My email is on our website. And if you want to follow me, best place is LinkedIn. My username is Nick M. Jain. Follow me and message me. Glad to interact with folks. I
Okay,
do.
do you
I have a
respond back on
100%
LinkedIn?
response rate both to emails and LinkedIn.
Oh, well, then we're good. Then yeah, your communication is a lot better
I'm
than
on
mine.
top. I lead what's called a zero inbox at the end of today's Friday night. Today's Friday night when we're recording this. Before I go to sleep tonight, I will have read and responded to every message I received over the past week if I forgot to do it already. Every
You
Friday.
do that every day?
I try and do it every day, but if I fall behind Friday night, I'm like up late doing this every day and have been doing so for like 15 years. And I was the guy who responded to every single email at work, for example.
You know what? I'm gonna make that one of my new goals for the year. I want to try to do that by every Friday. I want to clear out my inbox. Probably not customer support for people who are watching, but for people who personally message me every Friday, I want to try to clear it out.
It's a
I'm
good activity to get in. You feel
I'm gonna
so
let you know
peaceful
how I
because
go.
then you know you're not forgetting anything.
Right. So yeah. So the goal is by Friday to have
Before I go to
a
sleep,
clear
it's clear
inbox.
for me
Correct.
every Friday. Has been for about 15 years now.
I'm doing that. On that one, we closing out. I appreciate you for coming to the Mind Behind the Money podcast. I think you knocked it out of the park. People are going to get a lot of value out of this one. And I hope a lot of people go and get that software because I think it'll be very beneficial.
Thank you
for
so
any
much,
business.
Rayshawn, for having me on. I love having you as a host, man. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
sir.
It's been fun.
Yep. See y'all in the next one.